Well, hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Happy pumpkin making day for us crafty bunch group. And I am always happy and excited to be here to share my love of clay. And I'm going to make some fun little pumpkin today. Like I said, this is an event with the Crafty Bunch, and I am actually, Angie started it off early this morning, the wee hours when I was still sleeping. But I'm kind of like the first in line as far as the back-to-back lineup. So welcome, welcome. I am Crafting with Kim. If you're not familiar with me, then I'd really appreciate you joining on my Crafting with Kim page. You will see in the lineup there. There I am already. Great, fabulous. I got to pull up my phone so I can see comments because I use StreamYard sometimes and they don't always come up with the name. So, hey, Miss Angie. Yeah, I'm rocking and rolling this morning. So we're going to be working a pumpkin theme. It's like, hey, pumpkin, how are you today? Make some pretty pumpkin stuff. And we got a whole lineup of ladies, and I'm sure we'll do something really great. Hey there, Miss Mary Painted Peach. How are you, girly? So, so if you're not familiar with us, like I said, go to the Crafty Bunch and join up. It's a free group. You can always watch everybody straight there. You can do, was it hashtag pumpkin? I'm sorry. Was it hashtag pumpkin that if you want to see everybody find it in the group that way. I think that was right, Angie. And then, of course, you can join my page. I really appreciate you joining over. I'm working with polymer clay, and you get to see some fun things I do with that. Also, in the next one in line, if you go in the description, you'll be able to see Tanya with Timeless Treasures. She's in my link there. You can just find us lots of ways. Okay. So like I said, it's a pumpkin theme today. I got a lot of cool things going on with my stuff, and then everybody else is going to be doing some fabulous things with pumpkins as well. Okay, now let me go ahead and switch my screen over. And like I said, if you're watching this and you don't see the little red button up there in the corner, that means that you would be watching it after it's live. And that would be, if you're watching, I would appreciate you doing hashtag replay. And because that helps too. It helps with our algorithms and helps get us out there. And of course, I'd love it if you would, like I said, show us some love, sprinkle it out, let people know what we're doing. Okay, so like I said, people that don't know me, first timers or whatever, I work with polymer clay primarily. And I'm doing that again today. I'm doing a really fun project with the clay. I'm going to show you what I got going on. I made these last year, and I love them so much. I've actually kept them in my windowsill all year long. I don't know. I just thought they were so cute. But this is one here that I used with the blue clay. Okay, and it's like an envelope fold, a pumpkin, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to do that today. I've got the blue one here, and I've got this little guy here too. This one's kind of like, orange. And I put a little distressing medium on this, or primitive, whatever everybody wants to call it these days. So this one actually had the stem broke. Somebody in my family, my husband won't admit it, but he actually dropped this one and broke the little stem off. But never fear, I actually this is the raw clay right here, and I added some more onto that. So I'll have to rebake this one today. But I wanted to be able to show you the blue one, because it was real pretty too. Hey there, Miss Tanya. How are you? All right, let's see. That's my girl. Who is that? That might be my husband saying that. Is that you, Robert? Okay, so anyway, like I said, I've got my two pumpkins here that's going to be something like this. But I thought, no, it's not hashtag replay yet, darling. It's if you're not watching me live and you don't see the little red button up in the corner, that's when you do hashtag replay. Okay, just saying. All right, anyway, and that is Robert. He's calling me a liar that he didn't break it. All right, enough of that shenanigans. So what I'm going to do with this one, though, is I'm going to show you how you're going to lay this out and put it together. But I'm going to do something I'm going to do more of a blingy white one, kind of a pearl pretty one, instead of doing something distressed like this. But let's put these aside for now. All right, yeah, Robert's trying to give me grief already this morning. He's a bit of a jokester, guys. He's kind of like Chris in a way, likes to play around. All right, so what I did here is, you can see, for the sake of time, I've pre-rolled my clay. I've showed this several times, but if you're a first timer, I'm using this clay here. I like using this one because it's a firmer clay. It's a super sculpty. It's beige color. And it works really well for holding up better for certain things. I do use other clays, but for this particular project, I'm using this. The reason I have these try to get back a little bit my camera. These are just 2 rulers. I put them on the side as my guide because what I did is I take pieces of the clay and then I rolled them out like that because I need a pretty consistent thickness on here. And so this kind of does that. It actually allows you to roll it and then you get the same thickness all the way through. Pretty much. I mean, it might be a little off, but it's pretty. I just want to show you that little tip like that. That's how I do that. Now, for the texture, like on these, yes, thank you. Please sprinkle my video. So you can, this one actually has some cool texture on it. Okay. And what I did with that is I have a lot of different stencils, which I'm sure, these are just pattern stencils. This is one of my favorites. You can tell I've used it a lot, but I literally just laid this down on here and took my roller and I rolled it out. Okay. And it creates a nice embossed effect like this. It gives you that nice embossed effect. Okay. And then you can paint it and do whatever you want to out of that. However, today I thought that I would do something a little different. I haven't used this guy in a while, and it's one of my faves. This is a cool rolling pin that's already got your little card cutouts on these. These things are awesome. I love these. So anyway, I'm going to use this one today instead. So before you actually take your pattern to lay it on your clay to cut it out, because this is what we're going to fold up to make the pumpkin, you want to do your texture first, because if you were to cut this out and then roll on it, it's going to stretch your clay and it's going to misform your shape. It's going to distort your shape a little bit. So it's always better to do your textures before you do your cutting. All right. So basically with this guy, I'm just rolling it on there, and I might have to go back and forth a couple of times. And I really don't care if it doesn't show up here and there because it's a pumpkin and, it's a little organic. But generally, I just roll this like one time over the whole thing, one pass, and I get it. It might be a little light in the camera now, but it is showing up and it's really pretty. Okay, like I said, you guys probably are not going to be able to see that, especially if you're on a phone. But trust me, it's got a really kind of a cool texture. Now, what we're going to do, oh, hey, Debbie, how are you? Oh, you're from Missouri. Well, hello, the Show Me State. How's it they're going over there in Missouri? Is the weather getting chillier over there? I'm in Florida, so we're enjoying our beautiful fall right now. This is our time of year right now. This is where all the people come and hang out and get away from that cold weather. It's been beautiful, like in the low 80s, high 70s. Okay, so what I need to do right here, but yes, Debbie, so what I'm doing is I'm working with polymer clay. If you're not familiar with that, you can ask questions as I'm doing this, and you can always get with me privately. I do have a video course if anybody's interested on how to get started with it, and that is in my link description, so you can see that. So I'm basically laying, I've cut this out piece of paper. It's my template. I'm going to use an X-Acto knife, and I'm just cutting around this. You don't have to be exact with this. Like I said, pumpkins are organic. They don't have to be perfect, but I want to get it, fairly close. So everybody tell me, what is your favorite? Are you guys okay with pumpkin still? Is everybody like over the whole pumpkin thing, or are you still jiving on pumpkins? What's your favorite pumpkin food? Do you like pumpkin drinks? Do you like pumpkin food? You like pumpkin pie? I know my baby Humpy, he likes pumpkin pie. I do too, though. Yeah, I got it. Matter of fact, I'm going to be making a pumpkin pie soon. Sometimes I actually buy the cans of pumpkin and literally make pumpkin smoothies out of them, because pumpkin's actually good for you. I'm not into the idea of taking a raw pumpkin. That's too much work for me. I've done that in the past where you take them. Of course, if you're doing a jack-o'-lantern for Halloween, then that's a good thing. You can take all your meat out, the pumpkin meat and the seeds, and cook them. And believe me, I've been there. I'm not that industrious in the kitchen anymore. I just do simple things because it's just my husband and I go buy a can of pre-cut pumpkin and use that. You can just pour it out of the can and be good to go. But anyway, yeah, what's your favorite pumpkin food, guys? What? Hey, Kathy, how are you too? It's good to have all these people here, and I appreciate, like I said, if you've never been around me or seen what I'm about, I'm part of this Crafty Bunch, and I like to come on here and I work with polymer clay. So these little pieces here, I'm pulling away. I'll be using them I don't want to just ball them up and get rid of them. I just kind of take them aside. It takes, obviously you can see, you have to have a fair amount for this size of a piece, but you don't use it all. It seems like, oh my gosh, I'm using a lot of my brick, but when it comes down to it, it really is not that much. I find that a 1 pound brick, like I showed you before, depending on your projects, I mean, I probably ended up using about this, maybe this much of the brick for this project, if that. It goes a long way because you don't need it to be like crazy super thick like ceramic clay. It's different. You can get it really thin and do projects like that, and it bakes up real nice. I love pumpkin chiffon. It's jazzed up pudding. I've never heard of that. Oh my gosh, I bet that's good though. I like anything pumpkin, honestly. I like pumpkin spice, okay? You know, I don't understand why they don't keep pumpkin spice around all year long. You think people just wouldn't buy it in the summertime because they just associate their brain with the fact that it's a fall thing? Pumpkins don't come out in the fall. I mean, pumpkins are great. Like I said, sometimes I just buy, you at Walmart, you can find the can of pumpkins all year long. I mean, you can just go in the baking section and they're sitting there. And sometimes I just buy them, and like I said, I'll pour a little bit in my morning smoothie. I don't do so much coffee, but I do morning smoothies with all my good stuff in it. Okay, so I've got that cut out. Let's see what else we got here. Newbie from Missouri. Okay, thank you for sprinkling that video. I really appreciate it. So now I'm just going to take this guy off. Obviously, it looks like a star. Oh, one thing I forgot to do. I kind of need to do this. To get my marking. See these little lines here? I need to kind of gauge those where to fold it. I'm trying to remember if I did that before. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and you can do this you don't have to have clay to do this project. You could actually use some heavy stock paper and make these. This pattern actually might have come from something like that. But everything that I see in my eyes that's crafty, I try to challenge myself and do something with it with clay. Like even if it's a paper craft or it's something that's made with wood or whatever, I mean, I try to adapt it to clay just because that's what I love, and it gives me a challenge to do that. Okay, so I just ran my little stylus across there to give me a little mark, because that's kind of like where I put the folds together. I believe that's how I did it. Like I said, it's been a year since I've made one of these. All right, so now what I'm going to do, there's a couple ways I can do this, but I think for this one, usually sometimes I actually paint the raw clay, and I think I might paint the raw clay. I'm going to put a little bit of extra roll on here, not too hard. I just want it to be a little bit more, especially, this is actually going to be the outside now. Think about this. This is the outside of the pumpkin. I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to fold it like an envelope sort of thing. Okay, now to get this thing up, because it's on a piece of glass, you can see I've got a reflective area here, is that you need to be able to get it up off the glass. You could try to pick it up. Sometimes it's a little stick and stucky. What's stucky? Stucky's a truck stop, right? Eat here and get gas. That's Stucky's. All right, so it's stuck is what I was trying to say. You guys, I'm from the South. Like sometimes weird stuff comes out of my mouth. Heavy what? I'm also from Missouri. What? Oh, hey. I'm sorry. I ran Heart's Desire. I thought it said heavy. All right, Kim, put your glasses on. Anyway, so yeah, what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of lifting this up off my surface. You got to have something that's like a non-porous kind of thing. And this is, like I said, this is a thick piece. Usually with the polymer clay, you don't work in pieces quite as thick. But with this to hold up and look cool, I need to have it a little bit on the thicker side, and I need to make sure that I scrape all that up from the bottom. This is, like I said, when I flip this over, this is going to be the inside. You're not going to be able to see that much. Okay. Now, even if I got a little extra clay on there, that's all right. All right. That's not so pretty, but I don't care so much about that because you're not going to see it. I think what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to put this over here on another piece of glass because I'll end up baking it on here. All right. So okay, so I've got my little star pattern. Now what we need to do is polymer clay, when it bakes, sometimes it will flop. It needs something to kind of hold its shape until it's baked because it's soft. So what we're going to do is take a little newspaper, crumbled up newspaper in there to give it some shape, okay, to hold its shape. Now this is kind of a trick too. The one thing that I'll tell you, is I had to end up pulling the newspaper out of here a little bit at a time when I did this, but it wasn't that big a deal. As a matter of fact, after doing this a couple of times, I think ripping it might be a little bit easier than taking out one big old piece like I did before. But this, like I said, this is I found the easiest way to be able to hold that shape. And of course, you're baking at a low temperature, so you can actually bake the paper. You can bake wood, you can bake metal, and what else can you bake? Aluminum, of course, things like that you can actually bake at this temperature. So what I'm doing right now is just folding it over. I might have a little bit too much. Let's go a little bit lower, Kim. Okay. All right. I'm not worried about what it's going to look like as far as poking out, because like I said, it's just to hold the shape. It's not going to be, it's not going to be, I'm not trying to say, Kim, wake up, brain. Wake up, brain. This is, I'm not going to be leaving this in here, so who cares if it's poking out right now. And I really didn't have to put those little marks on there. I guess I don't know what I was thinking last time. I didn't really need those, but basically that's it. You can just, I don't have any rhyme or reason really how you fold it. You just kind of fold it over, because after you fold it over, we're going to put our little stems and stuff in our little thing on top, and you won't really see that. I think I might have time to do a little paint job on here. We'll see. If not, then I'll end up painting this guy off camera, and I'm going to actually paint it white and do like a pearlized white on it. And I'm thinking about even actually adding some little blingy on the side of it. Like along the edges, and putting some little glitter. So this one's going to be totally different. It's going to be a blingy pumpkin. It'll be pretty, more elegant, I guess is what you say. All right, so I got that, and I still want to add a little extra texture. This thing is bugging me. I should have like rolled it a little bit tighter, but it is what it is. Anyway, okay, now, so we got that. So the clay's going to actually stick to itself. We don't have to worry about that, for these big pieces here. Thank you, Jeannie. Hey, thank you for sprinkling. I appreciate that. All right, so now what we need to do is, like with this one, you can see I made this like really funky, like gnarly stem, and I've got a little leaf on here. Basically, I'm going to do the same thing. This is something from, I don't even know how I got this thing, some little Play-Doh thing that I got when I was working with some kids. And I'm like, oh, I can use that. So it's a little leaf shape. If you don't have a leaf shape, you could just hand cut out a piece of leaf, which is what I usually do a lot of times. But since this is consistent and it looks kind of pretty, I figured I'd go ahead and cut it out and use it. It makes just a little bit faster, a little bit more. Now this leaf, I actually think I'm going to roll this down a little bit. I don't know if I want that leaf quite that thick. So anybody else, spread the clay. There you go. Yeah, roll the clay is what one of my friends says. Roll the clay. She rolled the clay for me. Thank you, Debbie. All right. So yeah, I'm just kind of making that a little thinner. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut it out. This is nothing simple. You guys ever played with clay in school? Or you play with your kids, your grandkids, that kind of thing. All right, so it does have an impression here, but my clay's not that thick. So I'm just going to go back and do that myself. I can use my stylus here, which I can just draw my lines. You can actually make them pretty deep if you want. It's a little not quite centered, but who cares, right? And, oh, you know what? I got some clay jokes. I got to keep track of my time here. I got about almost 30 minutes left. I'm doing good. All right. I like it when I get a little extra time on these crafts. It's with the clay, it's not necessarily a real fast craft. I mean, unless you're doing something super simple. It takes a little time, but to me, that's the therapy of it and the beauty of it. I love being able to just sit here and carve, and, it's like a painter, I think it's very therapeutic, and the clay in your hands feels good. It's a soft feeling, and it, if you got arthritis like I do, sometimes just getting a little piece of clay and kind of roll it in your hands, and it feels nice. It's real fun to work with. Very therapeutic. And, you don't have to be a total clay convert, but you can do a lot of, like if I'm looking at a wood project and you got a lot of wood cutouts and you can't find what you need, or you can't buy it from one of these girls, you could actually make it out of clay. I mean, it's really, really simple to do. And I encourage everybody to give polymer clay a try. Air dry clay is similar, but you can't get the same effects you can with the polymer clay. It's just a little different. It feels different in your hand, and you can't get as much detail, and it has to be a little thicker. Anyway, a lot of people make jewelry with the polymer clay too. That's their big thing. All right, so get some of my boogers off there. Lift that guy up. And I'm going to stick that about right there, I think. Now I don't want it to lay flat. Oh, you know what I need to paint you first. I'm not going to paint you. I'm going to paint you before I put you on there. It'll be a lot easier. So I've got the leaf. All right, now for the stem. Let's see. For the stem, I'm basically using some brown. I've been holding this in my hand. Everybody saw me do my scarecrow last week. I was using this brown clay. It's a different brand. It actually is a Craftsmart brand, which I know Michael's carries this, and maybe Hobby Lobby too. Somebody said Hobby Lobby, but it's a Craftsmart brand, and actually it's like this. I have a white brick of it. It's good clay to start working with if you're not familiar with working with clay and you want to start. This is one of the ones I recommend because it's very similar to like your Sculpies and your little bit more expensive clays, but it does work well. So I just think that I've let this sit out too long and it's gotten a little bit dry on me. But anyway, I'm just going to try to roll it out. I am going to roll it out here for the stem. You guys can see that. I know my name's in the way. Here we go. All right, so roll that out like that. And this is called a sausage. A lot of times they call these sausages. For the obvious term, it looks kind of like a sausage. All right, so you're kind of doing this number, okay? And you just kind of figure out like your stem, like how thick you want it. I mean, stems are really craggly on these pumpkins, so you don't want it to be, real pretty and clean. It needs to be like a little bit funky wonky. So I like the big stem look, so I'm just going to kind of cut this side. Hey, Linda, how are you doing, darling? You having a good morning? Everybody just now waking up. It depends on what part of the country you're in, whether it's earlier. I mean, I'm on the East Coast. I'm in Florida, so I've got the latest. All right, so what I did right now is there's a couple things I wanted to show you. If you wanted, you can actually create some texture with a little piece of pasta and literally roll it on top of it like that. And get a fun little, and that's what I did with the other ones. It does kind of lose some of it when you get it on there, so you might have to re-roll. Now, another thing too is you want it to be like all craggly and funky. Wonky wonky, it's one of my words. Melody does cute, cute, cute. I do funky wonky. Anyway, so I'm just kind of rolling it up like that. I might end up cutting a little bit of it off and adding your stem on there. Okay, like that. But I'm not going to add it on there right now. I'm going to go ahead and paint this one with my green, and then I'll go ahead and put the stem on there. And like I said, if you're not familiar with it, hey there, Miss Terry. How are you, Durban? You awake up there in Nevada? You up and about? Okay, so I'm just painting this guy up. And it's nothing but just using straight acrylic paint, simple, nothing fancy. I used Art Decos because I was doing paint parties at one time. I don't do so much of them anymore, but anyway, yeah. So I'm just painting it up with just a straight. And of course, like I said, this is raw. It hasn't been baked yet. You can do it either way. You could wait and paint it all when it's baked, but I usually go back over it sometimes too after it's baked. Okay, so simple. Okay, got that painted. Now I can go ahead and attach it to my pumpkin. You know what? Let's see what time I got. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to attach it to the pumpkin just yet. I think I can actually go ahead and put a coat of paint on my pumpkin. Technically, I could actually just attach this afterwards and glue it, but while I go through all that, if you can do it. Oh, I didn't get the sides there. I'll have to fix that up. Okay, now what I think I'm going to do is go ahead and throw a coat of white on here. All right, the white is going to take maybe 1 or 2 coats, but it's all right. I'm just going to get my first base coat on here. What I like about using the white after painting these a few times is this beige with the white. It's kind of pretty. It creates a really unique kind of a rose white color. It's actually pretty. So, oh, I've got, I don't know if Lydia's, is it Lydia on here? I see Lydia yet. I found some pumpkin jokes. At least maybe I'll get one pumpkin joke here. Hold on a second. Let me see, I get a pumpkin joke for you guys. I have them on my phone. This one says, oh my gosh, why was the jack-o'-lantern afraid? It was funny. Why was the jack-o'-lantern afraid, guys? Anybody want to give me an answer to that one? Instead of doing artifacts, I figured a joke would be kind of fun. I'm kind of a jokey person. Anybody want to tell me why the jack-o'-lantern was afraid? He had no guts. He had no guts. Oh, the kids are off of school. Okay, just got the kids off to school. I got you. Yeah, you got kiddos still. Ooh, I ain't got no kiddos anymore. I'm old and grown. Just me and my hubby. Me and my hubby dubs. Got grandkids, but don't see them as often as I should or would like to. Maybe every couple weekends, every few weeks, just get to see them. They live about 40 minutes from me, not 40 miles. Okay, so you guys can see now the bottom of it is not going to be painted, but I can paint that afterwards, and I'm not worried because you don't see the bottom. And like I said, you can't see as much of this texture on there, but once it's baked, it kind of comes out a little bit. I know it's kind of odd. It just does. I don't know why. You can see it better once it's baked or not. All right, so yeah, like I said, I'm gonna put some pearl on this, some pearl paint. Now the inside is not painted. A person could technically, before you roll it up, you fold it, you could paint your inside if you want to, but honestly, I mean, you don't see it. Matter of fact, I might have painted the inside of this one here, but I don't think I painted the inside of this blue one. I think I just left the blue one in the clay form. You don't really see much of the inside, but you can totally paint the inside of it if you want to first before you fold it. But this is kind of a beige tone, so I think it'll look kind of pretty. It'll be fine once I get it all jazzed up. Okay. Now, one thing I like to do too is I don't like to have these streaks on there. Let's see. Oh, I'm doing real good on time still. This is so great. All right, and I'm just going to kind of pat it a little bit because, you get like paint streaks on here when you're working with it. Okay, and because the clay is kind of, it's a different texture than working on a canvas. And I don't particularly like paint streaks. And a lot of times I dab with the raw clay. I'll dab it on there as opposed to doing strokes, just because it looks a little bit better. Gets those streaks off of there. Okay, so I think that might be good for one coat. Let that dry for a second. Actually, I think I'm going to leave that because once I get my metallic coats on there too, and I'll probably do the metallic coats after I bake it. I'll do that. I'll put that on there. I'm going to go ahead and get my stem. Oh, let me paint that little edge of that green there. I can even use my finger for this. Making sure I'm in the camera, guys. I know I go out of the camera sometimes. Don't mean to do that. And I got my name down there at the bottom. I could take that off, but then people might not know who I am. I'm Crafting with Kim. I'm depending on changing my name. I mean, you've been using this name for a bit. I'm sorry, guys. But I'm thinking about changing because I have a private clay group, which is in the description, by the way, the link. It's called Mud.Clay.Art. And my Pinterest page is Mud.Clay.Art. And my Etsy page, which I'd really appreciate you guys go over and checking out my Etsy page. It's Mud.Clay.Art. Everything's kind of Mud.Clay.Art because I'm trying to do the whole promo with the clay. So I'm wondering if I should change my name here in the Facebook to Mud.Clay.Art. But then I know Crafting with Kim is kind of like, I don't know, it's me. So I'm debating. What do you guys think? Change the name or not change the name? Or maybe Kim, Mud.Clay.Art? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out my brand. What should I brand myself as? The crazy blonde girl. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stick this on here. And I want to make it so it kind of, it's not flat. They look better, leaves, when they're a little bit twisted and like lifted up a little bit. All right, so I kind of got that. All right, I don't know. I think I want to move it over a smidge. There we go. You could put more than one leaf on it if you want to, but I kind of like the one leaf thing. Now, I think for the stem, simply because I've got this little bit of a flat, that's a small little spot right here that it's got to stick to. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is put a little bit of first off, I'm going to kind of like smush it with my finger to give it a flat spot. See that? A flat spot for it to actually sit there nice and flat. Let's see. Down the road, you might think of other mediums, not just clay. Yeah, I mean, well, initially that's what I started out to be. When I first started going online and doing lives, I was doing painting. I was doing a lot of painting and some crafts here and there. But then when I fell in love with polymer clay, I thought, well, I'm really trying to promote the clay, so maybe I should just be a total clay person. I don't know, with my name and everything, trying to be consistent. So I'm still kind of like on the limb about that. Okay, so now if I would have used this clay, I'm just going to show you something. If I would have used this clay here, this clay is so much firmer and it like almost stands up on itself. It's so much better. This brown clay is a little softer, but actually that doesn't look too bad right there. I might just leave it just like that and not touch it. That's one of my problems sometimes. I have a tendency to mess with things too much and then it ends up breaking. But you can, and they're supposed to be, like I said, pretty craggly anyway. But this clay is softer, and because it's softer, it has a tendency to want to like flop more, And I know, so like I said, once I get this baked up and I can get the paper out of there, this thing will look real cute. And I kind of like the fact that it's inconsistent, because pumpkins are inconsistent. There's not a perfect pumpkin, right? Like, look at this one. This one here has like a little bit, this one's lifted up on the edge. That one's lifted up. I just purposely sort of made them look a little bit funky. Even this one here, it's not consistent either. Okay. So, but that's kind of, to me, that's kind of the beauty of them. It gives it more of a natural effect. Actually, you know what? Maybe for the sake of time, maybe I will put another white coat on there. I still have 15 minutes. Oh, here comes my honey. The one that broke my pumpkin. My husband's coming up now. He's like, oh, liar. I know you broke my pumpkin. No, I'm still on. I got like 15 minutes. Okay. Yeah, he's in between jobs working. Now, yeah, I blamed it on him because I know I didn't break my pumpkin, because I was like, what happened to my stem on my pumpkin? He's like, it wasn't me. I'm like, yeah, it's right by the window where you sit. Don't tell me you didn't break my pumpkin. All right, so yeah, I'm going to put a little extra coat on here. Why not? But this time, oh, I got a little green on there. Who cares, right? It can always be fixed. Like they say, it's just paint. Yeah. Oh, Robert. Yeah, he's already gone, girl. He just came in. He saw me and asking if I was still here. So he already went in the house. My studio is separated from my house, which is actually kind of nice because I don't have to worry about a lot of it's good and bad. It's nice to have your own little studio space without being interrupted in the house. But in a sense, it's kind of like if I have to, number one, it doesn't have a restroom, so I have to, I actually have to walk to the house to go to the bathroom if I need to. And then my oven and everything like that for working with the clay. And, it's not as warm or cold. I got an air conditioning and a heater, but, it's not as perfect as it is if it was in the home, temperature-wise, but still neat. Okay. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and lift this stem up. Oh, nobody. So anybody ever say what my pumpkin down the road? My pumpkin joke. Okay. Everybody ever get that? Why was the jack-o'-lantern afraid? Because he had no guts. There's another one here too. Let me see. I got some funny ones. Because let me see. Why was Cinderella bad at football? I haven't read this one. Because she had a pumpkin for a coach. Really? Guys, come on. A pumpkin. They're funny. But they're cute. I like corny jokes. Who likes corny jokes? I like corny jokes are the best. I really do. Okay. And like I said, I got one more little coat here. Try to get around this. So this is why it's good to actually paint this stuff when it's separate pieces. Has anybody ever painted ceramics? If you ever painted ceramics, you kind of understand. You got all these little details and things like that you need to get around. And it's always best sometimes if you can just, one thing nice about clay is you can just add the pieces to it and paint them and then, fix them up. Okay. All right. So that's that. Now let's see. Let me go back over here. All right, get my thing pulled back up here. All right, so that's it for my white clay right there. Now, what I'm going to show you is I'm not going to do it because I'm going to wait till this is actually baked because this would not bake correctly. But I'm sure some of you ladies are familiar. I can get the lid on this thing. Good night, Kim. Why isn't that going on? Okay, anyway, I don't know why that's not going on. But probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to bling it up after I paint it and get it hard. I'm going to put some glitter on it and make it really glitter shine. And then I'm thinking that I'll take some of these, I'll cut these in some strips, like one little strip. And maybe if I got to get some decent glue, thinking super glue. You guys got any idea what I can use? Something maybe it's got to be real thin. I'm thinking E6000, but I don't want it to be all goopy. But put like a little bit of string line around each one of these here. Cut these little pieces like in strips, and then string it on there, make it kind of pretty. If I can make that work. I don't know. We'll see about that. See if I can get that to work. Terry says, I'm finally getting my own studio. What, Terry? Yay! Hubby's switching with me, and I'm getting, oh, no way. That's great, girl. I think you've been kind of working out of a small little spot in the house, right, for a while. That's awesome. By the way, ladies and people, if you don't know, Terry's a friend of mine on another group that's called Live Painting Sisterhood, and we're a group of girls that get together and go live, and we just create and have some fun. I haven't been on there in a few weeks because of things going on, but you guys, every other Wednesday night at 7, we do that group, and it's so fun. We just get in there and do all something, a theme like this, and we all do our little touches on it. And she's got a paint party tracer business where you can go in there and buy her tracers and do all that. And let me see. I like how you turn the star in the pumpkin. Yeah, well, that's what it is. It's like a fold mold and make it into a pumpkin. Like I said, you can do this with heavy paper. You can do it with cardboard too. Okay, now, like I said, I've still got a few minutes. Debbie said, oh, B7000. B7000. I was looking. I need something with a really fine tip. Hey there, Edrina, how are you doing, darling? Something with a fine tip. B7000 is like E6000, has a fine tip. I was looking at something on Walmart. I got to go shopping and see. I haven't been shopping lately, girls, and I know everybody's out to Hobby Lobby and all that, and I'm like, oh no. I get too tempted when I go out. I buy too many things. So I'm trying to be real conservative and staying away from the stores much, but it says, okay, next it says, we're doing wreaths on the 2nd for live painting. Wreaths. Oh my gosh. I got to get in on that one then. Okay. That's good to know. Our Live Painting Sisterhood group, I think I might have that in the description too. In my description, you guys can go look and see the Live Painting Sisterhood. So, yeah, you guys can see. And what we're going to be doing, that's a fun group. It's usually 4 of us, maybe 5 at the most, and we get together and make a little fun night of it. And let's see, Jennifer says, oh, you guys are be hanging out this morning, my friend. Yeah, like I said, okay. Crafty Bunch. You ladies just coming on. I know some of you are just waking up and getting your kids out and all that kind of thing. I'm the first in the lineup for today's event. It's all pumpkin based, and everybody go on there and in the Crafty Bunch and follow and refresh your phones. Do some love, spread it out, roll the clay, sprinkle what everybody uses to get the word out to everybody, and and just show us some love. I mean, we really appreciate that because it helps us build up our businesses and all that happy jazz. And like I said, if you're not familiar with me, please join the Crafty Bunch. Crafting with Kim. The link is in my description. I would really love it. I'm sort of a haphazard person when it comes to marketing myself, but I do like to have a lot, people that come in and want to learn more about clay. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to read some comments because I'm pretty much done at this point till I bake this puppy up. And then once I bake it, I'll add all my zhuzhy stuff on there. Okay, join the Crafty Bunch. Catch everyone's creations today. Free group and so much fun. Yay, that's a great promo there. It is actually. We do themes Sunday, Mondays, and Wednesdays. And they're all really fun. And then, of course, you can do your own thing any other time of the week if you want to, too. Lots of events, seeing so many creatives and support. Help Crafting with Kim, also follow her page. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, thank you there, darling. Thank you. Adrena does if you've never seen her, you need to go and watch. She does a lot of really fun, primitive things, like simple, but so cool. I just really love her stuff because I love that. I honestly do. I love everything, though. That's my problem. I like it just a little bit. I can go primitive. I can go blingy. I can go industrial. I'm just a little bit of mixed bag of nuts. Okay, I think I'm going to switch my screen over now. I've still got a minute. I'm trying to kill time, guys. What can I do to kill time? Can I tell some more jokes? You know what? I'll put this back over here because if there's any of you, now some of you ladies are just popping on, I'll give you a little recap of what I did. So I made this guy out of clay. Of course, it's polymer clay. I rolled out a big, slab, and then I cut it out with my little my template here, like a star, and I did a texture on it. I actually had a texture roller. I rolled it out with my texture roller here, and I got a little texture on it, and then I cut it out, and then I folded it up. I just folded it up to look like a little pumpkin. Now, Adrena, like I said, you can try this with paper and do a little primitive version of it if you want. Okay, folded it with paper. Here's a couple here. Like I said, if you didn't see, if you don't have time to watch the replay or anything, a couple that I've made in the past. And then I've got a little orange one here, but this one here that I'm going to do here, I'm going to do it more blingy and more like zhuzhy, elegant looking. Okay, so there's a couple like that. And then you can just add these any way you want. You guys can put them in your bowls, your doughbows, or your tier trays, or just put them on your shelf. They're just kind of same thing. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Okay, I still got 5 minutes. What do you guys want me to do? You want me to tell jokes? You want to talk about arts? I don't want to go off too early because I don't want to mix up the line of everybody coming on, because it would be like a little lag in between. So I'll just hang out with you guys and chat, and hey, I didn't really get too much response. Let's do some pumpkin things. Oh, yeah, questions. Great, Deb. Thank you. I like questions about polymer clay. How long do you bake and what temperature? Generally, the packages say 275 for about 15 minutes per thickness of the clay. However, a lot of people that work with polymer clay know that that's not great. Usually we bake for about an hour. Honestly, it gets firmer, it gets harder, and it's imperative that you get a oven thermometer, because you think your oven's going to be right on, and it's not. Because when I first started doing this, I thought, I don't need an oven thermometer, and I was off on my temperatures, and my things kept breaking or they're too soft. And so once I got an oven thermometer, it was like $6 at Walmart. Put it in your oven there, oven thermometer temperature thing. You get consistent. So my oven actually at 275 is 300. Believe it or not. Yeah, so you need to have one of those. And then you bake it on, literally I can just put this in the oven like this. It's just a piece of glass, but I usually put it on a baking sheet as well, and bake it like that. And then you can rebake it several times. You can bake it over and over again. So if you want to do it in pieces and you got a little something to add to it, you can do this and that and add that sort of thing. By the way, if you guys did not see this, I'm going to show it to you. I did my scarecrow the other day, and I know I posted pictures, but some of you might have missed it. Here's my little girl. I was having so many problems with her last week because she kept sliding down, but I did manage to fix her. Okay, I got her this is on a piece of wire. If you didn't, you can go back and watch the replay from the scarecrow. I think it was Sunday, but she was undressing and dancing around, but I managed to add some extra clay and some glue in here, and I attached her head and got her really cute, and she turned out so stinking cute, didn't she? I love her. But anyway, yeah, so you can do a lot with polymer clay. I've made bowls, all kinds of stuff. And I have that little clay course, if anybody's interested in that, in the description link. It's only $12, and you get 10 videos. And you can go watch it at your leisure and learn all the basics you need to know about polymer clay. All right, so I managed to use up a few minutes here, guys. I still got like 2 minutes, but yeah, she did come out cute. I was actually surprised because, I don't usually do a lot of little fun, little whimsical characters like that. Lately, I kind of have, just because of the themes of stuff I've been doing. But usually I do more like functional things, or I do a lot of aquatic stuff. But I'm like, oh, I actually liked her. She came out better than I expected her to come out. Let me see. Just answered me a lot. Okay, cool. Yeah. And like I said, you can use air dry clay for some of these things, but with air dry clay, you're not going to get as, you can't get as detailed with it. And it has to be thicker. Like if you try to do a thin layer with it, it's going to crack on you when it dries. And, you have to be a little bit more careful about like covering it up sometimes when it dries. It depends on the type of clay too. Some air dry clays are a little bit better quality than others. But it's usually more like for kids and things like that. But to me, polymer clay is just amazing. But I do use air dry clay for some things if I need to. If I can't get a shape I need an arm furniture or something like that for circles, then yeah, I can use the other clay. All right, so I've got about a minute left. I managed to talk my way through that 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys roll out here. And you need to go see Tanya, Timeless Treasure. She's right after me. And like I said, if you're in the Crafty Bunch, just go refresh or go to her page. I've got her link in my description as well, and see all the wonderful things it's going to be. These girls are just rocking it. They do amazing stuff with the pumpkins, and anything they do is just fabulous. So come join us and have fun. And I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.